Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In the last few episodes we spoke about the technical elements of swimming. We already spoke about freestyle, backstroke, fly, and this time we speak about breaststroke. I hope you like it. As in the other technical videos where I spoke about freestyle, backstroke and fly, I will do it here the same way. I will play one or two videos of mine over and over again where I swim breaststroke and will narrate about the technical elements, what is important. Let's start with the front view. First, on the back side, you see my legs do some sort of the frog kicks. What that means is really I try to stay as flat as I can when I start my stroke in front of it. At the same time, I start to pull my feet towards my bottom, and then I try to turn my feet to the outside. Once we are close to my bottom, when they're outside, I try to just push it backwards. It is very important that it is more a movement where I pull my feet towards my bottom instead of pull my knees towards my chest. The knees towards the chest is more because there is no other way, but it should be. The problem is this movement with your legs should be as small as the surface where the water can come from the front should be as small as possible. So once my feet are at my bottom, I would move the feet outside, so my toes outside, so I have a proper push towards the back. Once you're finished, you do the extra twist with your feet where you put them together again and lift them up towards the surface of the water. This in combination obviously with the stroke in front of it where I open up the water, some sort of I open up and try to lift at the same time my shoulders up out of the water so I have enough push, and then once I'm on the level with my hands on the level of my shoulders, I start to close. I bring them towards my chest and move them alongside my chest to the front, above the water or slightly alongside the surface to the front. So what the hands will do is obviously they will go to the side, push it away so I can open up my shoulders. Once I have the grip and my shoulders are a bit starting to raise, I will put my hand facing backward and then push. And once my elbows on the level or in the line with my shoulders, I bring my hands towards my chest, keeping it close, and start to move my hand and my movement as small as possible to alongside the surface to the front. And then while I'm going to the front again, I start to move the face of my hands down so they look down into the water and finish the stroke. When it comes to the rhythm or how how the arms and the legs need to move together or what they do, for me it's usually when I start my stroke in front of it, I keep my legs steady. Once I'm going to that moment where when I'm closing up with the stroke with my arms, I start to pull my feet towards my bottom so that I'm at the moment of being able to push the water is when I start to dive in. So my hands are going backwards to the front and I try to do that as minimal so I don't give the water too much surface. So I move it towards the front while I'm pushing to the water to the other side with my legs. So really we start the stroke going to the side, and then I'm almost finished with my stroke in front of it, and my feet start to move towards my bottom. And once I start to push the water with my feet backwards, my hands and my arms go back to the front alongside the surface. When we look at it from the top, like from above it's like that my body always is a constant movement. What is important is my hips try to stay as close to the surface as possible and are the one point or the one thing which is not gonna move towards too much up and down or to the side and anything. It's really like this. Your hip should be the steady thing which stays on the same position in the water where it is. I mean, it moves forward, but it moves nice and steady on the same level forward. Try to do that. And again, here when we look at it from above, what is important is really the stroke. You can see it in the water starts. I start to raise my shoulders and my arm, and once the stroke is finished, and so my head comes out of the water. At the same time, you see when I'm getting to the moment when I finish my stroke, my feet get pulled towards my bottom, and once I'm completely finished with my stroke, and I'm ready to go back to the front, I try to push with the minimum surface for the water to go against me, push my hands towards the front, and at the same time I push my legs into the other direction, and this gives me the next push to get into the mode where I can glide for a moment and start my next stroke. One thing is important: the head usually doesn't move too much. It can move a bit, depends on yourself, but the head doesn't move too much. It is always prolongation of your back. That means that when your shoulders rise, then your head rises as well at the same point, and it goes back into the water together with your shoulders and with the stroke to finish. What you usually see when people do that in the wrong way, they would start to lift the hand too early, and then they will go back down into the water too early while the shoulders are still above the water. Doesn't really make sense to go this extra mile. Really try to keep the back and the head in one line and usually just move them together. So this was it from this series, where I spoke about freestyle technique, backstroke technique, breaststroke technique, and fly technique. These were key elements of the technique of each of these strokes. I hope you could take something away, and see you next time.